Dear students of intermediate level from Dhaka College as well as from different institutions of Bangladesh. I would like to welcome all of you to my today's lecture. Today, like last 4 classes, I'd like to provide you with some important information regarding modifier. Excluding today's class, I conducted another 4 classes on modifier, and hopefully this is our last class on modifier. And within the discussion for today, I am hopeful of completing modifier in details. Look at the board. In my first class, I told you that modifiers are of 2 types. One is pre-modifier, another is post-modifier. And under pre-modifier, we have learned ins and outs of 11 grammatical devices, or you can say things. 11 grammatical devices or items. From these 11 grammatical items, 3 are common in post-modifier also. They are adverb, phrase and participle. Adverb can be both pre-modifier and post-modifier. Phrase can be pre-modifier and post-modifier. And participle can be pre-modifier, okay, and post-modifier. I will not talk about adverb or phrase or participle anymore, but I'd like to complete today appositive and relative clause, and it will not take a lot of time. Within 45 minutes, I'd like to complete today's lecture, and with the discussion for 45 minutes, we will try our level best to complete appositive and relative clause. Okay, so dear students, let us start with appositive. Definitely you are going to get at least 1 question from appositive in modifier part. You are going to get at least 1 question from modifier part, okay? And appositive is not only important for modifier but also important for your writing items. If you write a lot of appositives, you can expect to get good marks. You can expect to impress the examiners with your impressive writing having appositives in them. So let us start appositive, and after learning about appositive, we will start our last segment or last device, and that is relative clause. Don't forget that appositive is needed to learn relative clause. If you learn appositive well, you will be able to write, you will be able to learn relative clause. So dear students, appositive. What is appositive? Look at an appositive. An appositive is a noun or noun phrase. An appositive is a noun or noun phrase and is used immediately after a noun or pronoun. Look at please. An appositive is a noun or noun phrase and is used immediately after a noun or pronoun. An appositive expresses additional information and a positive expresses additional information about a noun or a pronoun. Look at the board, my dear students. An appositive is a noun or pronoun, noun or noun phrase. An appositive is a noun or noun phrase and is used immediately after. Look at that verb, immediately after a noun or pronoun. So, appositive must be a noun or a noun phrase and is used immediately after a noun or pronoun. An appositive expresses additional information about a noun or pronoun. So, appositive means that additional information about a noun or pronoun which is used immediately after that noun or pronoun. Okay, this is the definition, and I'd like to clarify the definition with more than one examples. That is I will give you some examples to make you understand the definition of appositive. So dear students, appositive means or refers to additional information about a noun or pronoun. Okay, and in order to write appositive, you must have to use comma. In order to write appositive, you must have to use comma. So I can say appositive consists of an additional information regarding a noun and pronoun, and this appositive is normally expressed with the help of comma. Let us give an example. If I say, I love my mother. I love my mother. I love my mother. Dear students, I love my mother. Here I have got noun and there is pronoun. There is no additional information for I or mother. If I write like, I, a man of 30, love my mother, a religious woman. Now look at the sentence. I, a man of 30, love my mother, a religious woman. Do you find any additional information about I? Do you find any additional information about mother? If you get a man of 30 is an additional information about I. A religious woman is an additional information regarding my mother. So, can I say that a man of 30 is an appositive? Can I say that a religious woman is an appositive? An appositive, yes, I can say this is an example of appositive. This is appositive. Appositive has another name and it is called case in apposition. Case in apposition. Case in apposition, dear students. Appositive has another name, and what is the name? It's called case in apposition. Now, my dear students, a man of 30 modifies or pressurizes I. A religious woman pressurizes my mother or gives additional information about my mother. So can I say that a religious woman and a man of 30, both of them are modifiers? Now I have a question, whether they are post modifier or pre modifier. They are definitely post modifier because they have been used after the noun or noun phrase. That's why we can say appositive is a post modifier. Is it clear to you, my dear student? Try to ensure the use of comma. This is the beginning of appositive. I'd like to give you some more examples regarding appositive. Look at the board. And after talking about for a few minutes, I will give you examples. But I will give you examples and you will be told to write down the answer. Okay? Some examples of appositive. A village doctor. A village doctor. It's a phrase. I can give appositive of a phrase also. A very familiar figure serves the poor villagers. A group and effective look at the board, dear students. A village doctor, a very familiar figure, serves the poor villagers, an effective group for our economy. Now, dear students, if you get any use of post modifier regarding appositive, you are requested to find out. You are requested to find out the post modifier. That means you are requested to find out the appositives used in the sentence. Write the appositives used in the sentence in the comment box. Have you got one appositive or two appositive, dear students? Have you got one appositive or two? Look at the board. A village doctor is being modified by a very familiar figure. A very familiar figure is an additional information of a village doctor, and a very familiar figure is a noun phrase, and this noun phrase is expressed with the help of comma. Okay, serves the poor villagers. I think the poor villagers is also modified by an effective group for our economy. So how many appositives have we got in this sentence? One or two? We have got two appositives. Okay. Another example for you. Another example. Dhaka, capital city of Bangladesh. Dhaka, the capital city of Bangladesh, accommodates millions of people. Dhaka, the capital city of Bangladesh, accommodates millions of people. Dear students, have you got any appositive in this sentence? Find out. Have you got any appositive in this sentence? Yes, you will get. The appositive of the sentence is the capital city of Bangladesh. The capital city of Bangladesh is ultimately an additional information about Dhaka. Okay. So up to this part you have got some sort of knowledge regarding appositive. Okay. So appositive refers to an additional information about a noun or pronoun or noun phrase. Okay. And one thing must be kept in mind, dear student. I have forgotten one thing to tell you. In appositive, you are not allowed to use a clause. That means at the beginning of an appositive, you are not allowed to use a clause. That means appositive should be free from clause. Okay. So look at these two examples. Now I am going to give you 2 or 3 examples in the pattern of the question related to modifier. Okay. And you are requested to write your answer in the comment box. Okay. Example number 1. I am a proud member of Dhaka College. This is question number A. Post modify the noun with appositive. This is I am a proud member of Dhaka College. Post modify the noun with appositive. My first question. My second question is Bangladesh use an appositive to post modify the noun. Bangladesh use an appositive to post modify the noun. Came into being as an independent country in 1971. Bangladesh came into being as an independent country in 1971. You have to put additional information about Bangladesh. Okay. Example number 3. Rabindranath Tagore comma post modify the noun with Post modify the noun with an appositive. Started writing poetry from childhood. These are 3 examples I have given you, and you are requested to write down the answer, dear students. And I will check each and every answer you are writing after the class is over, because appositive, the answer of appositive can be different. The answer of appositive can be different. You can add any information, but the information must be relevant to the sentence. The information that you are going to put as appositive must be relevant to the sentence. Write down the answer. What is the first one? What should be the first one? Okay, I'm going to give you some time so that you can write your answer. Please write quickly, the students. Okay, I'm going to start with first example. I'm a proud member of Dhaka College. A lot of answers can be taken. I am a proud member of Dhaka College. First answer, you can say the oldest college in Bangladesh. You can say a famous institution. You can say an ideal college. You can say an education friendly institution. You can tell me a lot of answer. Yes, I have told you that a famous institution, the oldest college of Bangladesh, an education friendly institution. You can use a lot of appositives, but try to use noun phrase. Don't use any tense or clause at the beginning of appositive. Clear to you? Our second example, Bangladesh came into being as independent country in 1971. Bangladesh came into being as an independent country in 1971. This is the sentence. Now you have to put additional information about Bangladesh. What should be the answer? Dear students, now we are looking for the answer for question number 2. For question number 2, what have you written? What have you written? Okay, I am going to give you the answer. Bangladesh, you can say a country of South Asia. You can say a country of South Asia. You can say a country of Southeast Asia. You can say the birthplace of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. You can say I am going to write some of the answers. Okay. For question number 2, for B. This is question number B of question number 2. Can I write? A darling child of nature. Can I say a darling child of nature? Can I say a nest of thousands of scholars? A nest of thousands of scholars. Can I say? Yes, I can say. I can say a South Asian country, a South Asian country. Can I say the birthplace of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman? Okay, you can write any answer. Someone has written a beautiful country. Very good, it's a good answer. Bangladesh, a beautiful country. Okay, you can write any answer that is relevant to the question, but try to maintain the traits or characteristics of appositive. Use a noun or noun phrase, ensure the use of comma, don't use any clause or tense. Okay, our third example, Rabindranath Tagore post-modified the noun with appositive, started writing poetry from childhood. What should be the answer? Excellent. One student has written a versatile genius. Excellent answer. Thank you. One student has written a Nobel Prize winner. Very good answer. One student has written a famous poet. You can't write. One student has written is famous poet. You can't write. You can write a famous poet. You cannot write is a famous poet. Okay, you should write a famous poet. Okay, can I say a great poet of Bengali literature? A great poet of Bengali literature. You can write a famous poet. Yes, you can write a lot of answers here. Okay, so my dear students, up to this part, I am sure you have got some knowledge regarding appositive. One request for you, my dear students, whenever you are going to write paragraph, application, letter, composition, please ensure a lot of use of appositives. If you can write a lot of examples of appositive, definitely you are on the way of impressing the examiners, and the examiners will give you good marks. If appositive is called one effective ornament of language. You can create a good standard of your writing by using appositives in sentences. Write a lot of appositives in paragraph, composition, letter, application, report. You will get good marks. Okay, the examiners will be satisfied at the performance of you. Okay, so dear students, up to this part we have got, I think we have got a little knowledge about appositive. Now I'd like to start my last grammatical item of modifier, or you can say a post modifier, and that is relative clause. So one is left. A relative clause. This topic, that is the topic relative clause, the topic relative clause has another name. Relative clause is called adjective clause. Relative clause is called adjective clause. Okay, so dear students, relative clause is called adjective clause, but before learning adjective clause or relative clause, we need to know something about clause. And I talked about clause in my first lecture when I started simple sentence, complex sentence and compound sentence related to transformation of sentence. I told you that clause is a part of a sentence having one subject and one finite verb. A clause is a part of a greater sentence having one subject and one finite verb. A clause is a part of a sentence having one subject and one finite verb. A clause is a part of a sentence having one subject and one finite verb. Dear students, a clause is a part of a sentence having one subject and one finite verb. Okay. I know the boy who stood first. I know the boy who stood first. I know the boy. This is a part of a sentence. Who stood first is the second part of this sentence. I know the boy. I know the boy is the first part of the sentence, and in this part you have got one subject and one finite verb. You can say this one is a clause. You can say this was also, the second part is also a clause of the sentence. Another example for you. If I were in your shoes, if I were in your shoes, I would surely protest. If I were in your shoes. In your shoes means if I were in your position, okay? If I were in your shoes, I would surely protest. This is the first part of the sentence and this is the second part of the sentence. The first part is if I were in your shoes. The second part is I would surely protest. This is a part of a sentence and this is a part of the sentence also. This first one is a part of the sentence and this part contains one subject and one finite verb. The students, look at please. The second part is also with one subject and one finite verb. That's why you can say both of them are clauses. The first part has become a clause because of the second part. The second part has become a clause because of the first part, okay? Now, if I were in your shoes, this is the first clause of the sentence. And what is the second clause? I would surely protest. The first clause, if I were in your shoes, is unable to express its meaning without the help of second part. But the second clause, I would surely protest. But the second clause can express its meaning without the help of the first clause. That's why we can take a decision here. And what is the decision? The first clause cannot express its meaning independently. That's why we can call it a dependent clause. And the second one, I would surely protest, is an example of independent clause, okay? The first one is dependent and the second one is independent. The dependent clause is called subordinate clause. and the independent clause is called principal clause. Okay, principal clause can express its meaning without the help of any clause in a sentence, but in terms of subordinate clause is unable to express its meaning without the help of principal clause. And for your benefit, one information is there. In subordinate clause, there must be the use of a conjunction, but in principal clause, no conjunction is used. So up to this part, we have been able to earn a little knowledge about clause, principal clause and subordinate clause. But our topic is not clause, our topic is not principal clause, our topic is not subordinate clause. Our main focus is adjective clause or relative clause. So what is an adjective clause or relative clause? Let us calculate. Dear students, you are requested to write some lines that I am going to write on the board. You are requested to write some lines that I am going to write on the board. This is really important for you to understand adjective clause or relative clause. Adjective clause or relative clause. Adjective clause or relative clause is simply a adjective clause or relative clause is simply a subordinate clause. Be careful. Adjective clause or relative clause is simply a subordinate clause. Subordinate clauses are called adjective clause or relative clause, but all subordinate clauses are not called adjective clause or relative clause, dear students. All subordinate clause are not called adjective clause or relative clause. It means adjective clause or relative clause. It means adjective clause or relative clause. It must contain relative pronoun. It must contain relative pronoun as the conjunction or it must contain relative pronoun as the conjunction and clause marker. Be clear, please. Be very clear. It must contain relative pronoun as the conjunction or clause marker. So the subordinate clause which has relative pronoun as the conjunction is called relative clause or adjective clause. That means in subordinate clause, you can call a subordinate clause adjective clause or relative clause only when a subordinate clause contains relative pronoun as the conjunction. Okay? I can give you some examples. You have already come to know about clause. You have already come to know about principal clause and subordinate clause. Principal clause can express its meaning without the help of any clause in a sentence. Dear students, look at me. Some more information for you. It will be crystal clear to you. Principal clause can express its meaning without the help of any clause in a sentence. But subordinate clause cannot expect or cannot express its meaning independently without the help of principal clause. In subordinate clause, there must be a conjunction. In subordinate clause, there must be a conjunction. Subordinate clauses are of three types. There are three types of subordinate clauses. There are three types of subordinate clauses. There, noun clause, adjective clause, and adverbial clause. Noun clause, adjective clause, and adverbial clause. Noun clause, adjective clause, and adverbial clause. If a subordinate clause works as a noun, it is called noun clause. If it works as adjective, it's called adjective clause or relative clause. If it works as adverb, it's called adverbial clause. We will not talk about noun clause and adverbial clause because in modifier, noun clause and adverbial clause are not important, are not needed. But if you want to learn noun clause and adverbial clause, it's a different issue. But noun clause and adverbial clause need 3 or 4 classes to complete. Today I will talk about adjective clause. So adjective clause is in the list of subordinate clause. Subordinate clause can be adjective clause only when relative pronoun is used as the conjunction. If we get relative pronoun as the conjunction of any subordinate clause, that subordinate clause will be called adjective clause or relative clause. Okay, so dear students, let us give some examples. Bangladesh, some in appositive part I used a sentence. You can turn appositives into relative or adjective clause by adding relative pronoun. Very simple, dear students. You can turn an appositive into relative clause or adjective clause by usually putting a relative pronoun. For example, Bangladesh, a darling child of nature. Bangladesh, a darling child of nature, became independent in 1971. This is appositive. I can turn this appositive into relative clause or adjective clause by putting a relative pronoun. For example, Bangladesh, which is a darling child of nature, became independent in 1971. Which is a darling child of nature? Is this part an appositive or relative clause or adjective clause, dear student? Which is a darling child of nature? A darling child of nature is an appositive. Which is a darling child of nature is a relative clause or adjective clause. Okay? A subordinate clause becomes adjective clause only when it starts with relative pronoun, and before relative pronoun, Bangladesh, before relative pronoun antecedent is used. Before relative pronoun antecedent is used. In some books, one rule is written like the clause which is used after antecedent. The clause which is used after antecedent is called relative clause or adjective clause. Actually, before pronoun there must be an antecedent. Before relative pronoun there must be an antecedent. Okay. Another example for you. William Shakespeare, who was born in 1564, is called the greatest dramatist of English literature. William Shakespeare, who was born in 1564, is called the greatest dramatist of English literature. What is the adjective clause, dear students? What is the adjective clause? Identify, please. Which one? Which one is the adjective clause or relative clause used in this sentence? Write down in the comment box. Write down in the comment box. What is the adjective clause or relative clause used in this sentence? Okay, I'm going to tell you. Who was born in 1564? This is adjective clause or relative clause. Okay. Now, dear students, I'd like to give you two examples. The world is threatened by corruption. The world is threatened by corruption. The world is threatened by corruption. First, modify the noun with an appositive. What should be the answer? The world is threatened by corruption. You have to use a clause consisting of relative pronoun. That means you have to modify the noun, that is corruption, with an adjective clause. Okay, what should be the answer? What should be the answer? Write down. Our second example. We gained our independence in 1971. We gained our independence. Use a relative clause to post modify the noun. In 1971, we gained our independence. Use a relative clause to post modify the noun. You have to modify independence with a relative clause. Okay. The world is threatened by corruption. I think we should write the answer. The world is threatened by corruption. You can say, I can say a destructive thing. Can I say a destructive thing? Yes, I can. A destructive thing. You can say a dangerous weapon. A dangerous weapon to destroy a society. Look at this, students. I have used two appositive. I have given you two appositives, and you can turn this appositive. You can turn this appositive into adjective clause or relative clause. Just use a relative pronoun. The word is threatened by corruption. Which is, if you put which is with a destructive, which is, okay. Which is a destructive thing? Which is a dangerous weapon to destroy a society? Both of them will be relative clause or adjective clause. So, which is a destructive thing or which is a dangerous weapon to destroy a society? You can write any other answer, but try to start with a relative pronoun. Try to start with a relative pronoun, okay? And the last sentence for today. In 1971, we gained our independence. Use a relative clause to post-modify the noun. What should be the answer? What should be the answer? If I say, which is called the birthright of a man. Look at please. Which is called the birthright of a man. This is relative clause or adjective clause. So, dear students, we have completed relative clause or adjective clause. We have completed relative clause or adjective clause. Okay. I don't want to continue. I have conducted 5 classes on modifier, and I think I have completed. And my dear students, I have one recommendation or suggestion for you. If you miss any lecture, don't be tensed, because the lecture is still available in the website of Dhaka College. You can search Dhaka College and the lectures are there for you. And after enjoying the lecture or after attending the lecture, please ensure practice. If you practice modifier right now, I think everything will be crystal clear to you. Thank you for being with me, my dear students. Thank you for ensuring a participatory class. And while taking classes, I have noticed a lot of examples that you have written. Thank you for your excellent participation. In my next class, I will start a new topic, and hopefully the classes that we are conducting, the classes that the teachers are conducting are really helpful to you, and you are taking the advantages of these live classes. So, this is all for today. Thank you for being with me. Willing to meet you very soon with a new topic. Goodbye.